So, our second participant, Sarah Khawaja. Originally from Pakistan, Sarah studied biology in London and later came to Zurich, where she did her master working with nuclear magnetic resonance. She stayed in Zurich and now doing her PhD in biochemistry. She studies proteins and how they're made under various stress conditions. So something tells me that she's prepared quite a dramatic story for us tonight. Let us start imagining an alien brain. Sarah Khawaja.
Mic check. Mic check. Yep. So recently, a friend of mine, who's an astrophysicist, was telling me how his girlfriend never seems to appreciate what he does for a living. She keeps pestering him with questions like, when are you going to get a real job? When are you going to stop looking for aliens? And only about 10% of his time is actually spent looking for aliens. Now, as a biologist, I found this interesting, and I began to wonder what kind of radically different forms of life might exist in the great beyond. So I'm going to paint you a picture here. Imagine a creature that's about this big. It has a defined morphology, but it can nevertheless slip through tiny cracks like liquid slime. It has 3 hearts that pump blue blood around its body, and it can change the color and the texture of its skin to blend in almost perfectly with just about any background. Now, before you accuse me of indulging in one too many Hollywood cliches, I have a confession to make. This is not some hypothetical being that I've simply plucked from my imagination. This is a real-life, modern-day, flesh and blood animal, and one with which you are all surely familiar. It's the octopus, and everything I just described holds true. Freaky? Yes. Alien? Maybe. Because you see, octopuses are very clever. They can use tools, they can unscrew jars from the inside, they can even recognize individual humans and squirt jets of water at the ones they don't like. But any other intelligent animal you could name, dogs, whales, birds, chimpanzees, we have a last common ancestor with them that looks something like an alien, like a lizard. So in a sense, we all have a lizard brain that has evolved in different ways and to different extents over the last 300 million years. But the last common ancestor that we share with the octopus existed 300 million years before that. And this looks something like a worm with a very rudimentary nervous system, which means the octopus represents a completely separate natural experiment in the evolution of intelligence. And this has given rise to some pretty interesting phenomena. For instance, only 10% of an octopus's neurons are found in its brain, and 60% are distributed throughout its tentacles. And each tentacle has its own mini brain that allows it to act autonomously, which is perhaps not that impressive. But how about this? I mentioned that the octopus can change its skin color in order to camouflage itself, but it can do this despite being colorblind. And we don't know exactly how they pull this off, but we know that the skin cells themselves are detecting and responding to the wavelength of light in a matter of seconds. So I guess you can say that the octopus is seeing with its skin. And insofar as this might be an alternative form of consciousness, I think we're really entering alien territory here. But I guess what I'm trying to get at with all of this is that while I do think it is very much worth our while to send radio waves into the abyss in the hope that we get a ping back in, say, 500 years, in the meanwhile, there's really no shortage of things to marvel at right here on Earth.
Thank you, Sarah. So do we have some questions?
How come you're so interested in octopuses?
I read a book about them and I thought it was quite fascinating.
Patricia?
I heard a story of an octopus squirting water at a ward because this ward, what was the story now again? This octopus held the hand of a ward and didn't let go, and the ward had to leave. So this ward put a normal water on the octopus, and it plopped into the water, and then the octopus squirted water on him. So, do you think octopuses have a sense of making the Mickey of someone, or yeah?
So there are a lot of anecdotal stories about octopuses from labs that research them, and one of them is that they tend to always target the same person for the same kind of behavior, like squirting water. What would make the octopus dislike an individual? I have no idea. It could be the way they're treated, or maybe it's just their smell or something like this. But I guess I don't know if they have a sense of humor.
All right, thank you, Sarah.